So close. And there we are. Hey, folks, thanks for tuning into the BAMF podcast. I am your host, Mike Lafferty, and here's our artisanally handcrafted intro music. And ladies and gentlemen, that assures you that you are listening to a quality, high production value podcast. And thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. Hey, we have 4 people out in viewing right now. Please, folks, say hi in the comments. We love to field questions. Today, we are talking with Mr. Dan Taylor. How are you doing, sir?
I am good, thank you.
I would like to compliment you on your stylish glasses. As a fellow spectacle wearer myself, I haven't had the fashion sense to go with an orange frame, but that looks good on you. That's cool.
Yeah, I've decided orange is my color.
All right, sweet. I'm on board with that. And our co-host for tonight, above me, the Brady Bunch Grid, is the Ghost Show boss himself, Christopher McLaughlin. How you doing, Chris?
Well, I didn't get fired today, and if I get fired tomorrow, it will not be for the reason I was anticipating. So pretty good, all in all.
I'm sure there's a story there, but I'm glad you're still employed.
Thank you.
Teaching the children of Virginia. That's a good thing. And
thank you.
Regular commenter Sparky says, "Hey, Sparky, good to see you, sir. Hope you're having a good evening." So, Dan, let's get into it. You were putting on a show called Catacombs and Comedians, and this is an alchemy of stand-up comedy and tabletop role-playing games. And tell us how it came to be and what's going to be happening.
Well, I played Dungeons and Dragons my entire life, ever since the little white box with the 3 little light tan books in it. So we're talking over 45 years of D&D in my life. And apparently, in the last 3 years, I moved to Nashville. And when you go to Nashville, that's when you break into show business, apparently. So I have some ties with the comedy industry here in Nashville. And everybody thinks it's Music City, but it's Music City. And it's a lot of comedy in Nashville. And I pitched an idea to one of the owners of the Zanies Nashville Club. And I said, "Hey, you guys, let's do a Dungeons and Dragons show." There's gaming stores all over the Nashville area. It's a college town. Dungeons and Dragons is bigger than it's ever been, partly and because of the pandemic. And why don't I dungeon master a group of local Nashville comics and have some fun with it? And I sent him an email with it saying, "Hey, here's my thing." And he said, "I need to know more about D&D. Tell me more." So I emailed him back, sent him a little more, and then I thought he ghosted me. Well, at the Christmas party for the club, I said, "So how about my Dungeons and Dragons idea?" And he goes, "Oh, that was you. I had no idea. Yeah, let's do it. We'll do it." So just like that, we started. We inked it in. It was good to go.
It takes me back to my days doing stand-up comedy back in the early 2000s. Club owners, they're like that.
Yeah.
So, well, that is perfect. How do you keep it funny, or how do you make it funny? Because are you going to edit it down for public consumption, or is it just live without a net? Whatever happens, happens.
Well, I've got 4 comics, and their experience with Dungeons and Dragons varies to not having played at all, having played in college, playing once a month with an improv group, and one of the comics' dads had the original first edition Dungeons and Dragons, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons books. So after we, reminisced about the succubus illustration in the monster manual, we got down to the nuts and bolts of the game, and we've had a couple practice sessions, so we're not going in cold on this. Mm-hmm. But part of the comedy is going to lie in the fact that this 4 intrepid comedian adventurers really have no idea what they're doing.
So it's a learn as you go kind of thing,
right? And by no means am I a Matt Mercer, or will this be anything like Critical Role. The show will kind of be pared down to an hour and a half, because we can't play for 4 or 5 hours in the comedy club on stage. And it'll be pretty much set up like you might go to a comedy show where there's an opener act, a middle act, and a headliner, and that's
Okay.
basically how we'll do it. The first encounter will be 5 minutes or so. The second encounter maybe 10, 15 minutes, and then the third encounter will be the headline. Where they fight the big bad guy.
Okay, that's a cool structure for an evening. I like that. Well, sweet. Yeah, the main streaming show I used to watch back in the day had a similar idea. It was mainly comedians and celebrities. Harmontown.
Yeah, exactly. Harmon. I'm very familiar with Harmontown, and I would be remiss to say if that was not some of the inspiration behind it.
Sweet.
When I pitched it, I said, "Oh, Dan Harmon did it in his show. It's there's all sorts of Brian Posehn has his Nerd Poker where he plays with a bunch of his comedian friends at podcasts. So it's not the most original idea in the world, but the fact that this makes it different than other actual play Dungeons and Dragons shows is I do not believe that they've done it on stage in a comedy club.
Mm-hmm. I'm guessing you have some burly fellows to handle any hecklers.
Just as much as I'm going to come with a bag full of dice, so I will.
Well, that works. Yeah. Throw a Crown Royal bag full of D4s at somebody that will solve that problem. I'm just picturing like old rules lawyers, hecklers. Like,
exactly.
What about
Exactly. And I think we'll have a disclaimer at the beginning of the game saying, "Hey, don't jump on us if we forget our, opportunity of attack or area of effect or anything like that."
that broadsword was a D12 plus 6 damage.
I'm going to use the excuse that everything is done to enhance the show itself to move along rather than oh yeah, we didn't forget that rule, we just omitted it for time.
Edited for your pleasure. Well, hey, this website down here at the bottom, Catacombs and Comedians.com. If you're in the Nashville area, you can head over there and buy your tickets to see the show live. But what about folks like myself and Mr. McLaughlin who aren't blessed enough to be living in the Nashville area? How can we see your show?
We will have it available not live this night of the event, but a few days afterwards, perhaps, depending on how much editing we need to do to clean it up. Mm-hmm. Not language-wise, I'm just technical or whatever. We will have it available. There will be I've kind of had to set up a new thing. It's called Zero Level Media. Mm-hmm. And that will be a Twitch page and YouTube, YouTube channel that it will be available on. Now, not only will we show those shows on streaming shows and not as well as just audio podcasts, and those will be for free, of course, but like I said, not the night of the event. But we'll also have other actual play streaming shows with those same comics in between our live stage shows.
Oh, okay. Kind of flesh out little one encounters, that kind of thing.
Exactly. So this is not just going to be a one shot. This is going to be an ongoing campaign.
Okay.
And by me just saying that now, I found out today that we have officially got our date for our second show at that comedy club, at Zany's Comedy Club.
Oh, when's that going to be?
It happened today. So we're already hit. We haven't even gone on stage to fuck it up yet, and we're already got 2 dates.
So are you running maybe a module or a series of modules that I would have heard of, or are you just all homebrew?
It's all homebrew.
Okay, cool.
I'm setting it up to specifically cater to the comics and the fans of comedy.
That makes sense.
I'm relying, there's going to be inside jokes, not inside jokes, but like here in the South, Cracker Barrels are all over the place. So there will be a chain of taverns called the Cock and Barrel that these characters will be, frequent often. I'll have them whenever I need, and we're, because every good adventure starts in a tavern. So whenever I need a tavern, I have the Cock and Barrel ready because they're all over.
I hope there's a kitschy gift store in the.
Of course, that's where you get your supplies before you get your adventure. Then you pick up a couple supplies, you get those biscuits, and you're out the door.
If you need that DVD collection of Hee Haw, it is right there. So.
The porcelain salt and pepper shakers and the all the candy you can get.
The Chinese checkers, the little wooden triangle. Oh, goodness. Back to Grandma's house. Yeah, sorry, it's just where I grew up in Indiana. Those are a fixture as well. They're
Yes, you
everywhere.
can't swing a dead kobold around here without hitting a cracker barrel.
Exactly. Well, I'm really excited, and I guess I'll be haunting your Twitter and the Catacombs and Comedians Twitter to try and see when I can check out your show. And this is going to be going on where it sounds like it's going to be an ongoing interest for I'm guessing 5-6 shows, however long it takes to finish the campaign.
I've got this one planned for at least 10 adventures.
Okay.
It's going to be a grand epic thing, and I'm doing way too, like today I was working on the map of the land that they'll never go to, but I need it for my own reference.
Okay.
And then ideally what I would like to do is have Catacombs and Comedians be a regular thing, and not just my Nashville crew, but we can do streaming online with comedians from around the States or around the world, because so many comedians are nerds and D&D players are nerds, and it's the Venn diagram on that is almost a full circle. Yeah. So I would like to do more, get it out there. It gives the comedians a good opportunity to improvise, to have fun with the material. It scratches my itch to DM and to create a world, and without being too serious with the D&D. And so that's the plan. Overall, you've known me long enough that I come up with a new plan, a new idea every 3 months.
Dan, I've known you over a decade now at this point, maybe longer. I'm turning 50 next month. I'm in deep denial about time and the flow of it in general at this point.
I've got the attention span of a gnat and the creativity bubbling over. So I figure if I can get a way to find a comedy club to pay me to actually be a dungeon master, I might stay with it for a while.
You're getting paid?
Yeah, I'm actually getting paid for this too.
Dude, you're starting off like a rung up than most comics I know.
Yeah.
I
don't know how much will be paid, but besides finding out I got a second show at Zany's here in Nashville, another club contacted me, and we will be having a show at another comedy club.
Oh, they're in Tennessee somewhere?
Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh, you're going to travel. You're taking on the road.
We're going on the road. At least I'm going on the road. It'll probably be a different group of players at the Huntsville club.
Oh man, I spent months and months working on open mics for free before I got paid to go comedy. And your first 2 gigs are paid, and you're getting booked on the road.
I've been on the fringes of the comedy industry for a while. 25, 30. Let's see, I'm doing the math. How old I am? 30 years ago or so, I was a door guy at the improv clubs in Southern California.
Oh, like the actual improv, not the franchise joints, but the So you know people then.
And I worked my way up to being it was the Orange County Club, to being a manager there. So we're talking back in the days when Richard Jenny and Louis Anderson, Robin Williams. Sorry, we don't have any of them anymore. But I grew up kind of. I was still a kid when I was in my mid-20s, but yeah, with the comedy clubs, and so I kind of had a little bit of a way to ease it to sneak myself into the door.
Yeah, my best comedy story, and I'll keep it short because this is a show about you. But when I was working at Laughs in Tucson, we had a guy who he worked a New Year's Eve show, and I found out later that he wasn't supposed to be there. He presented himself to the owner. He kind of showed up and said, "Well, I'm the comic. Everyone else isn't going to make it because they're sick, and I'm your guy." And I brought my opener, and let's do it. I'm getting this money. And the owner had no other recourse because every other comic hadn't showed up. And what this guy had done was he'd taken it on himself to call the other 3 comics who were booked to work that weekend and say, "Scotty doesn't want you to come." Then he goes to Scotty and says, "They're sick, so I'm your man." And he got to work that weekend, and he never came to that club again. But
no, I would assume he made a problem.
So you had a real life You're the good old boys.
Yeah.
It's a lot of chutzpah. I was I was shocked and amazed that he did it, and even more shocked and amazed that it worked. But club owners are like that. So yeah.
Yeah.
Funny story. Also, how I got tenure.
Really?
At this point, sure.
Okay.
Let's go.
You know, some of those reservoirs are drying up with global warming, Chris. They're gonna find those bodies. Just so you know.
I may get canned tomorrow over parking. I'm ready for it. You know, the body will just be icing on the cake.
All right. Well, hey, just to wrap it up. Sorry, I know I promised you guys a short, fast, and fun show. I don't want to ramble on too long. But yeah, you're facebook.com/Catacombs and Comedians, or you're on Twitter at Catacomedians. And we had your big URL up earlier, catacombscomedians.com. People can buy tickets to your show, follow you on social media, so that when your streams go live, they can
exactly. Once
out.
we have the shows, they'll all be available through catacombsandcomedians.com.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be, a number of shows, it already looks like. So, and it's already fun. Like, we've had some practice games, and it's a great group of kids that I'm playing with, and I'm allowed to say that because I am much older than all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you know it's going to be a good thing when the staff at a comedy club is excited about you coming to your show coming.
Yeah.
Apparently, they are all. At least the kitchen staff will love us. I've got that.
Well, those guys are the secret tastemakers of the comedy club, so it's important to have them on your side.
Exactly.
Well, this is really cool. I am very excited about this. I'm looking forward to seeing this, and I'm going to be right in line to kickstart your eventual Netflix animated version. So
that's what I promised all these comedians. I said, hey, look, if these voice actors can do it, we can do it.
Yeah, I would say so. Well, hey, cool. We will definitely be in touch, and once your podcast goes live, we'll be pimping it and trying to keep an eye on this and point.
Oh, I will not let you sleep on this one.
All right, sweet. All right, Chris, I see you smiling over there like a big Buddha. Do you have any other questions, comments, thoughts for Dan before we wrap it up?
Well, first of all, if anybody listening does not have the pleasure of knowing Dan, he is he is a genuinely great human being. He's a great host. He's very entertaining. And even if you don't know anything else about this project other than Dan is involved, you should go buy a ticket and bring everyone you know, because you're in for a good time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Or as I say in the South here, I appreciate you.
Been in Virginia my whole life. That's my native tongue.
Thank you, Bear. Usually you wait till the end of the show for your cucumber, and appreciate your discretion, sir. Good to see that. So Bear's a lovely fellow from Central Europe who's into bears and cucumbers. So good to see you. Sure hope you're having a good evening. All right. Well, hey, pleasure talking to you, Dan. Try to have you back on in the near future to see how this is going. And everybody, check out Dan's show. It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, super. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.